Mate, I think we got to start with the number one topic of the day, and I think a few words come to mind that are often used too often. You know, if your mate gets you a beer in the pub, he's a legend, isn't he? The words legend, hero, iconic, special are often words overused, but they're quite relevant to the man who we're going to be discussing a lot today on the pod. Cav, what do you reckon,
Yeah,
mate?
yeah. Obviously, number 35 on it today. And moved ahead of Merckx. He had the record anyway, but now he's got it for himself. And we called it, didn't we? I actually called it yesterday with Tom. I said he was going to win, so I'm definitely going to blow
Did
my own
you?
tyres up here, pump them up my tyres. Yeah, but I don't know. It was just I just had a feeling ever from when we did the pre-tour pod, and I was like, none of those sprinters like stand out as like super like in the height of their powers at the minute. They've all been better, I feel, in their careers. Some of them are obviously still coming up, Lee and all these people, but I just felt like Cav had it in him. And I was thinking on the bus just now as we were driving back, and I was like, Cav is still competitive with all these boys, and let's be honest, he's not what he was. Back in the early teens when he was just smashing 4, 5, 6 tour wins a year. It's incredible, really, when you think how good he was. He still is, but at the height of his powers, he was like unbeatable. And there's no one like that anymore. Everyone's on a similar level. Some guys have a good year, but then fade away again. Whereas Cav just dominated for 10 years, off the boil a bit, had his issues, and then has come back and got the record for himself. It's and it's funny because he calls himself the GOAT. Lad, I am the fucking GOAT. He said that to me a few times, but in fairness to him, GOAT as in greatest of all time. Like, yeah, fair play, Cav. He is the greatest sprinter. Even though you put Chippo in front of him when we did our top 10 sprinters before. Do you remember that on the pod?
I wouldn't now.
But
Yeah, I wouldn't anymore. I wouldn't anymore.
yeah, there's not much more we can say, really, is there? Like we've said it all before.
But you say like how he's just been at the top for so long, and then I was just thinking like through the generations, like who's been there, and it's like back when he started sprinting, it was like Hushov, Goss, Farah, and then it was like Kittel, Gaviria, Sagan, Greipel was there throughout all that.
If he listens to this now and he hears you say Farah or Farah, whatever his name is, in the same sentence, like he'd lose his shit with you, mate.
Yeah, apart from Farah, I'd agree with all of them, but I'm going to put Farah in there.
Pataki was in there.
Pataki in the early days, and then like
McEwen, was he still around?
that new generation, newer. But who?
McEwen, or had he stopped just as Cav was coming on the scene? Yeah,
Yeah. Do you remember when
McEwen?
Cav won Shelter Price and
Oh yeah,
McEwen was second or third, and Cav slipped over on the podium with the champagne.
yeah.
So they definitely raced each other. And then you had like Caleb Ewan and Sam Bennett. They went to the Tour and cleaned up between them. And now like Phillips and Groenewegen. And you go through all these names that you said, Pataki,
Kittel,
even
Greipel.
before like McEwen, Greipel. All these names have just come and gone and peaked, been at the best, won, drifted off, and Cav's just been bam, 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 super consistent, and yeah, he's no one can argue he's the GOAT.
Yeah, he's gone through a couple of generations, haven't he? I was thinking about this today as well. This is totally random, but like levers, brake levers. There's been different generations of them.
I do know brake levers, yeah.
So they used to be quite low on the bars, didn't they? Like Sean Yates style. Like when we started, our levers were proper round the bars. You know what I mean? So yeah, how do you describe this? Like your hands were.
Well,
this
like
is why I'll never
palms.
make a radio commentator, but limp palm.
Yeah, like limp palms over your bars, isn't it?
Yeah,
Puppy paws.
yeah.
Puppy paws.
So that's how we started, and then levers went the other way, didn't they? Like bloody, they were holding pistols, like the Downing brothers, like
Yeah.
like they had them up at bloody 90 degrees, didn't they? And now they're like twisted in, they'd like gone the other way and they're twisting in like 90 degrees for like aero jazz. Cav's been around for all those lever positions, mate, and he's been winning the whole time.
He's seen all them lever positions, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, the other day in the sprint, we analysed it a bit, and I was on the pod with Tom, and I actually said, you know, the team weren't in the mix at all, and I'm not at all concerned about the end result and Cav not being able to achieve 35 off the back of that himself. But what was concerning is his team, that they didn't really show up. And I'd say they just learned quickly and adapted quickly. They completely flipped the script in the way they rode today's sprint to the sprint a couple of days ago. I mean, anyone can make a mistake once, but if you make a mistake twice, then you haven't learned, have you? And they clearly, you could tell just the way they rode, they knew they had to get to the front a bit sooner, down that twisty descent, a little bit wet, and use that manpower earlier. And it
especially
just paid dividends.
Yeah, as you say, the guys they've got, like, they're obviously strong enough to do it, but they haven't got the technique and the know-how for that middle block between 10 to 3k to go to then drop off Bottle and what's his face, Morkov. You know, so use your men, use them early, like, and then at least you get something out of them. You keep Cav and the lead out guys out of trouble, and it worked the treat, didn't it?
But you know, if you watch the last kilometre in particular, or even 2 kilometres, you know, after that right-hander, and you kind of go back and just watch Cav, he just seemed like a man on a mission today. And he was, you know, when you're on your top form, when you're great and you feel good and you're confident, then it's not coincidence that then doors open and you move the right way, and you, instead of moving left, you move right, and it's the right decision. When you're good and you're physically good and you're confident, the things do happen for you in the right way. And they just did. And you see the way he was like threading the needle through the peloton. It was incredible. It wasn't dangerous. He didn't do anything crazy, but every decision he made was the right decision. And actually, I FaceTimed Caleb after the sprint, and we were having a chat, and he said it was just, as a sprinter, it was incredible to watch, because there's so many split-second decisions, and every time he made the right one. It was like, you know, they are split second, and he's just perfect.
Yeah, it's just that clarity, isn't it, of thought and knowing what you're doing. And, you know, like in football or rugby, people are like, oh, Messi, he's got so much time on the ball. But it's not necessarily, he has the same amount of time as some people. He knows what to do with that time. You know what I mean? And it's the same with Cav. Like, when he's on it and he's feeling good and he's got that focus, he just knows what he has to do, and he doesn't have to think about it. It's like autopilot. He knows where he wants to be, and it just, those gaps appear in that split second, and he knows, boom, that's where I'm going. And it's just, as you say, it's great to watch. Saying that, I haven't actually seen this finish. I haven't seen any of it. I was in the shower when they were playing the replays, but yeah, fair play.